Welcome to Inside the Wellspace. I'm your host, Cathy O'Brien, and today I'm thrilled to welcome a true pioneer in integrative medicine, Dr. Chiti Parikh. As co-founder and executive director of the Integrative Health and Wellbeing program at Weill Cornell Medicine and NewYork-Presbyterian, Dr. Parikh is redefining healthcare by blending the best of Western science with the time-honored wisdom of Eastern traditions. From her early roots in India and a solo spiritual journey through Southeast Asia to building one of the country's leading integrative health centers, Dr. Parikh brings a holistic approach to healing that treats the body, the mind, and the spirit. She's board certified in both internal and integrative medicine. She's trained in functional medicine, acupuncture, and Ayurveda, and her work has been featured everywhere from the Dr. Oz Show to the New York Times. Get ready for a powerful conversation about bridging the gap between ancient practices and modern medicine and how we can all take a more mindful approach to our well-being. So hello.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, I'm so excited. From the minute we met, I feel like we could start talking and never stop.
Yes.
Because I'm absolutely blown away by you. Blown away by everything you've done and your approach to our well-being. We all need it. We all need you. We have so much to talk about. And just to tee it up, we're talking about longevity in health for women. Could you start us off by talking to us about your evolution and you grew up in an Eastern philosophy and then were deeply hardcore trained in Western medicine.
Yes.
Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so I grew up in India. I moved here when I was a teenager. So you can imagine the culture shock coming from a small town in India where if I got sick, my grandma would take me to the kitchen, open the spice box and be like, take this. And that's what I did, right?
Mm-hmm. And it worked.
And it worked, yeah. And
that was just normal.
That was just normal part. That's what I thought medicine looked like, to be honest. Hardly ever did I take antibiotics, so pretty healthy childhood. Then I moved here, big culture shock.
Yeah.
And I go on to college and decided to go into medicine.
Right.
But before I did that, I actually took a year off because I knew this was a very serious decision to be made, but also my life was about to get very busy. So I took a year off and I traveled.
Can I just pause on that? That entire thought too is so beautiful because we are programmed here to just go. Like, why could you ever take time to breathe or take a nap even or, heal or just take care of your energy? You did it.
Yeah. I cannot tell you how many people were like, wait, you got into medical school and you're taking a year off? Why would you do that?
Yeah.
So I had to explain myself to many people, which I didn't have to people from Europe or Australia and other countries. They're like, oh, gap year. Yeah, we do that.
Of course you do. Why
here?
Yeah.
No way.
No.
So, but I knew this was so important for my personal growth and making sure the profession I was choosing was really a good fit for me.
Good for you.
And
that's so deep and thoughtful and knowing knowing of yourself.
Because I have plenty of doctors in my family and I know what a huge commitment it is. It's not just the medical training, but really what happens after.
Yeah, sure.
So, and travel has always been a passion of mine. So I wanted to combine that with healing, which searching for answers when it comes to taking care of ourselves and how it's done in different places.
Yeah.
So, and traveling at that time, mind you, this was pre-iPhone, right?
Yeah.
Pre-Google Maps. So it was good old guidebooks, talking to people.
Amazing.
In very remote parts of the world. And that in itself taught me so much about myself and also how people live. And I always draw back to those experiences to keep me grounded and keep my mind open. And that's the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing today, is drawing from those experiences, from traveling, immersing myself in different cultures. And if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't be able to bring all of these different modalities for myself to heal, but also for each and every patient I see today.
Yeah. I mean, it really is so special because your inner pinnings and inner workings is the Eastern philosophy of health and well-being, yet you are grounded in a hardcore Western medical degree. And therefore, you were able to pull it together and create this literally renowned space in Manhattan with Weill Cornell, which is one of, the most notable hospitals in the country. So, wow. Really, really great for you. And, to get into it, you and I have talked a lot about how traditionally studies for the body, the human, have been done on the male body. Yeah. And that the female body is so different
Yes.
And that we have all sorts of bodily changes that happen to us on a regular basis, and we just don't even know about it. Yeah?
Yeah. And one of the topics that's trending right now, all of us have heard about longevity, right?
Yeah.
So I have a lot of patients who come to me saying, there's a lot of longevity stuff going on. I heard this podcast, I read this book, what do you think about this supplement? And I say, let's step back for a second. Let's first of all ask the question, what is your goal? And it's different for everyone, especially for women. When women come to me with these questions, I say, most of the research out there, most of the things you're hearing, all of that has been studied in men.
Yeah.
And it might not be applicable to you.
Right.
We need to do a lot more digging to really understand how women's bodies are unique.
Yeah.
And especially when it comes to longevity. Women live longer than men, right?
Do.
So if you really wanted to study longevity, we need to understand how women's bodies are different, how we age, how we mature, what are our unique needs, and those need to be met.
And that's our own responsibility.
Exactly.
We can do this. This is not a hard thing to do. It just seems maybe like it's hard.
It seems so complicated.
Right, but it's not.
It's not,
really.
I mean, if you think about human beings, we've always wanted to live longer and healthier lives. This is nothing new.
No, it's
right?
not. Right.
This is something each and every human being who ever walked on this planet seeked.
And even maybe now with technology that's available, there could be ways to do that. I'm going to throw a however in there.
Yes.
However, there's something cool that you talked about in the Eastern modality, which is the combination of the sun and the moon around energy.
Yes.
Can you talk about that?
It's such a beautiful way of describing the differences between men and women.
Okay.
So in Eastern medicine, and I'm sure a lot of us have seen that picture of yin and yang, right?
Yeah.
The black and white.
Yep.
So in Eastern medicine, there's a strong belief that life thrives when we're balanced. And we are made up of two opposing forces, yin and the yang.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not that yang is good, yin is bad. Yin, that's a very Western
It
way
is,
of
right?
thinking
Like there
about
has to be a good
black
guy
and
and a
white.
bad guy,
Everything's
right?
black and white.
Yeah.
But in Eastern medicine, it's having the right combination of yin and yang is really health. And what it looks like for you is going to be different.
Okay.
At this moment, it's going to be different. For you, a month from now, it's going to be different, right? So it's ever changing.
Right.
Just like life, it's ever changing.
That's the only thing that's constant is change.
Change,
I had a
exactly.
boss tell me that once when things were changing and I didn't like it. And he said, Cathy, the only thing constant is change.
And that's the
I never
hardest
forgot about
thing
it.
we have to deal with, right?
Yeah,
we
totally.
have such a hard time with it.
Yeah, why not? Of course.
And that's why Eastern medicine is so beautiful. It says, allow the space for this movement between yin and yang. It's going to change. Recognize where you are.
Right.
So women are yin. We are the grounding energy. Okay. We are the moon. Men are yang, the more active energy. They're the sun.
Got it.
So our physiology, our body actually follows that lead. That's why women have more of a 28-day cycle, similar to the moon.
Oh, interesting.
Whereas men have more of a 24-hour cycle related to the sun. So their hormones fluctuate pretty much on a 24-hour cycle.
Okay.
Whereas women's hormones fluctuate on a 28-day cycle.
Mind-boggling. And like, what exactly does that mean, actually, for us physiologically?
Yeah. So in 24 hours, there's only so much that can happen, right?
Yeah.
But in 28 days, there's a lot that can happen.
Yeah.
So each and every day looks very different.
Mm-hmm.
So as women, our bodies are in a very different physiological state, different hormones, different gut microbiome, different brain waves.
Yeah.
Every day of the cycle.
Right. Okay, I'm just going to pause here and say that we are going to do another talk on the gut microbiome and hormones because we got so off on a tangent around that one day, and we were doing a talk with a bunch of women. We were on a panel together, and all of them were like, "Hormones, please. Let's talk about hormones." So we're going to get into that in more depth. So I just want to let everybody know that that's coming, and it's juicy. Okay, so keep going. Didn't mean to interrupt your train of thought.
So that's what happens, and women thrive in more of a yin environment. Like we need more time to rest because our bodies are doing a lot. So when women do not get that yin counterbalance, we experience the side effects of this go Western modern lifestyle far more than men.
We take it in. Exactly. We take it in and we're tired. We do pay a price for it. Do you think, and I'm just like tangentializing, do you think that contributes to disease?
100%.
Yeah, I'm getting that. I feel that.
And in Eastern medicine, disease comes from that imbalance.
Right. And you can feel it, right? Can you feel it?
100%. We all feel it. We just choose not to pay attention to it, right? Because as a doctor, if I don't see it under a microscope, it doesn't come up in a lab test, it's in your head, right? It's just sort of
You're
like
making it up. It's not real.
It's not real yet.
Right.
But in Eastern medicine, every disease starts in the spirit, in the mind, and then manifests in the body.
God, oh my gosh. See, we need to pay attention to our headspace first, don't we?
Yeah, that's the source.
Mind-boggling.
So let's get to the source, right? There's only so much you can do once it's in the body. There's a lot, right? But what about focusing on the source at the same time?
Yeah.
Prioritizing our mental, emotional health.
Yeah.
Because for women, that is so, so important. That's the yin. We need to nurture our yin.
Yeah.
Bring ourselves back to balance by making sure we are focusing on rest, recovery, understanding how our body's different, giving ourselves grace. The fact that we are changing.
It's so not easy to do. Give ourselves a moment. Okay, so this is, again, sort of sidebar to this. I'm just sharing. I mean, I had the cancer thing last year and a crazy work schedule during it all. I was a maniac. Talk about cortisol and talk about dis-ease. It was just nasty. At the end of the year, I just said I need to yin myself up here. I need a little bit of yin. And although I didn't know the word at that point in time, now I do, and I'm all over it. But I literally changed my structure, changed it. I'm not working the same way, thankfully, and I've been very graciously allowed to, and sort of not allowed to, but worked with this wonderful company that I work with, and I'm being given sort of the space and the time to work out my yin, and but it's a game changer, I'll tell you, because I'm aware of it and conscious of it. I nap. I let nothing come into my energy space that isn't positive. It's it's conscious.
It's a lot of work.
It's conscious and it's a lot of work. And if I'm tired, I just lie down. Yeah.
It sounds simple, right? But
it does.
We are not allowed to do that.
Well, you know what? We're not, because we're not programmed that way. And I'm going to say, I think probably because we're women, because we've got a lot to do, especially when you're working and then you pop out a few babies. Yes. I mean, it's a physical, whoa. And then all of a sudden, you're on it and you just have to keep going. And then navigating everything else. Yeah. A marriage, any relationships, your physicality, working out, all that stuff.
Everything.
Yeah.
It's a lot on our plates. So that's why when someone talks to me about longevity, it's a very different conversation I have with women and men. Yeah. It has to, right? Yep. Because what it's going to take care of myself better, live longer, a fuller life, is going to look very different.
It's consciousness, right? And action.
Yeah. And it's sometimes not necessarily doing more, because women typically come to me and they say, Dr. Parikh, I need to change my diet. I need to work out more. I need to do. I was like, you know what you need to do? You should do less.
I love that. I love that.
That's really the answer.
And that is okay.
And that's okay.
It's okay. Yeah. It's okay.
Yes. Doing less sometimes is the answer, which is such a tough pill to swallow.
Totally. And you talked about, which I love too, you talked about having resilient bodies, resiliency in our bodies. And we do, I used to look at it as like a shock absorber. Yeah. I was a shock absorber. I can take it. Yeah. Bring it. I can take it. Yeah. Emotional toxicity, whatever it is. I got you. I got it. I'm going to spit back something calm and whatever. But internally it was wreaking havoc. Yeah. So you talked about resilient and learning how to sort of weather the storm versus fight.
As much as we would like to believe that we are a stone wall, we're actually not. We're a sponge. So as much as we think we can resist all these negative things, we can just make our way through all this, we can't. No. We are indeed a sponge. Everyone's negative energy, everything's going around us, leaves a mark on us. Yeah. And we need time to recover from that. Sure. So it's not just saying to yourself that, you know what, I'm not tired, I'm going to power through this. There's no powering through it.
Oh, we've done that. We've just done it. We do it.
I know.
You were the second time mom, brand new mom again. Yeah. And, it's hard.
It's hard. It's so important for us to have the conversation, how to build resilience. It's not about putting up more walls. Right. It's squeezing out that sponge from time to time.
Oh, I love that visual. That's a great visual, actually.
Right? Because we're soaking up a lot of stuff. If we don't wring it out, we're going to carry, it's going to get heavier and heavier as we go forward.
I think that's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful visual, you can sort of like bring in and relate to and feel like, okay, I'm a little heavy now. I'm feeling a little heavy. I need to wring out. And then, okay, what are the methodologies I need to do to wring that sponge out? And you had talked about 4 domains. What are our 4 domains that we have to tend to?
Yes. So the 4 domains I always focus on from myself for every single patient I see is sleep, physical activity, nutrition, and mind-body connection.
Great.
So people often talk about stress, but it's bigger than that. So I say mind-body connection because it's a positive connotation to it rather than saying just avoiding stress. It's so much more than that.
Yeah.
So these are the 4 fundamental buckets of making sure we are balanced. If we're focusing on health and well-being, these are the 4 areas we really need to take an inventory of.
Got it.
From time to time.
How often should you do your review?
So at least once a year, we're talking about doing all your checkups, annual checkups, right? That's a great way to say, especially around your birthday, it's a good time, right? We're all
I do that.
Thinking about what the year was, what the next year's going to bring. So we get into that mode of thinking, looking at the bigger picture. So it's a perfect time to say, what happened? How do I want to change it? What kind of tone do I want to set for the next year?
I love that.
So
starting with my body.
Exactly.
And my mind. Yeah. Starting with how am I doing here?
Yeah.
Right? I really love that. There are a couple of things that we had talked about. So for example, colonoscopies, a bone density test, a mammogram, an EKG for girls, because these are all, heart disease we know is the number 1 killer for us.
Absolutely.
Hands down, when and at what point should we and how often should we be doing all of these things?
So if we want to live a long, healthy life, we need to take a more preventive approach.
Yeah.
In Western medicine, we're very much reactionary.
Yeah.
Let's wait till something goes wrong and then we'll take care of it.
Yep, that's true.
In Eastern medicine and just the right type of medicine always focuses on prevention. Prevention will always better than cure. Right?
Yeah. So I love that because that's an adage. We know that. We've heard that.
And it's better.
Yeah.
And for us, it also empowers us because then something's in our control that we can do.
Yep.
So I always recommend every year you have to do a detailed checkup.
Okay.
So whether it's going to the doctor or a healthcare practitioner that you trust and you have a good relationship with, but also doing some reflective work.
Right.
And thinking about how are you doing in those 4 domains?
Yep.
Where are we lacking? What can I do to prioritize my health and well-being?
Right. And what does it look like actually? Because it can't all be full throttle all the time in every moment of your life. You as a new mother again with a toddler and a baby and a job and a husband and.
Yes.
Come on. You're not getting to the gym necessarily the way you used to. You can't.
It's impossible. So I always say you're never going to master all 4 domains.
Right.
Pick the weakest link and focus on that.
Oh, I love that. And they can change.
It will always change.
They can change.
Right?
On a yearly basis, it can change. It might be exercise one. It might be nutrition because you're so tired. And when you're tired, you don't necessarily eat so well. So it could all change, right?
It could all change. And for us, it's not about, again, perfection. That you're not scoring 100 in each domain and that's what you're aiming for.
Right.
We're bringing it back to balance. We're aiming for balance. So pick the one thing that is most out of balance. It's throwing everything off because these are not isolated domains.
Right.
If I don't sleep well, I'm not going to crave a kale salad the next day. I'm going to want a cookie.
You are totally, or a burger and fries.
Yeah.
If
that was good for me. If I had a burger and fries, the next thing I'm going to think about is taking a nap, not jumping on a treadmill. Right? So
it's true.
It snowballs.
Yeah.
It's all connected. So don't think that, I'm just going to prioritize my sleep. So I guess I'm not doing anything for my physical exercise.
Yep.
No. You're going to see if you sleep well, you'll notice you're making better nutritional choices.
Yep.
You're digesting food the better.
Yep.
You're less stressed. You're exercising more or you're just more active.
Totally.
So don't think that just focusing on one, you're ignoring the rest. You're actually just prioritizing one and you're being smarter.
Yep.
Right? Because you are going to get that downstream benefit no matter what you choose to focus on.
I love that. And also don't try and overachieve.
Yeah.
Stop it. Knock it off. Cut it out.
As much as social media is telling us that you have to eat a salad, run 5 miles, drink a zillion gallons of water a day and get your 8 hours, it's just not possible.
No way.
It's the first thing I tell my patients that that is not the goal.
No.
That is not possible.
No.
That is not real life.
No.
And that's not what health looks like. I have plenty of people. I take care of billionaires, some of the richest people on the planet, who can afford the healthiest food, 10 personal trainers, the best doctors in the world. Are they the healthiest people? Are those the people that are living 250? No.
Yeah.
So it's not that.
Yeah.
Whatever we need to take care of ourselves is already within us.
I love that. I love that. And that's, I'm just going to add to it. You talked about stress management as one of the main things that you can do for yourself. Can you talk about that and some ways to do it?
Absolutely. So mind-body connection, right? As we talked about, all diseases, discomfort, everything starts in the emotional, psychological, spiritual realm first and manifests in the body.
It does, doesn't it?
So talk about prevention. That's the first thing we got to do. We got to take care of that mind-body connection.
Yeah.
And the best thing you can do is check in with yourself every morning.
Oh, I love that. What does that look like?
As soon as you wake up, do not pick up your phone. Just keep your eyes closed and ask yourself, how am I feeling right now?
What do I feel physically,
What do I
literally?
feel?
Am I tired? What's
going
feeling
on?
energized? Is there something on my mind? How did I sleep? Really, just do like a quick inventory checklist.
Exactly. Because what we do is we look at the news. We're looking at what's the world doing? How is the world feeling today?
Outside.
Yes.
As opposed to inside.
Check in with yourself first.
Oh, I love that.
And then the second thing I always encourage everyone to do is the best thing you can do for your mind-body connection is set an intention for the day.
How do you do that? I always, when I would do yoga and the practitioner or the yogi, whatever, would say, okay, everybody set your intention. I'm like, oh, I don't even know what that is. So what is that exactly? And what do you do?
So that's the reason I say check in with yourself first and find out what's going really well or what's missing. So you might say, you know what? I got 8 hours of sleep, which is great, but I'm still feeling a little tired. Right. So I'm setting an intention that I'll continue to improve my sleep as I have.
Okay.
And today I'm going to feel more energetic.
Okay.
Right. So acknowledge and appreciate the positive that you have right now.
Yep.
And set an intention that what is lacking will improve. So that's a simple formula.
Yeah.
Pick one thing that's going well,
just one
thing you want to improve,
Love
and then set that's going to be your intention for the day.
One thing, that's a great little tidbit tip because for me, I'm way into this stuff and I do meditate and I write stuff down sometimes. That's new for me. The whole intention thing, I'm like, I just don't know that I'm doing it right. So that's great. So pick one thing that's going well, one thing you want to work on or improve upon and sort of almost state that you're doing it.
Exactly.
Just state it. Just state that you're doing it.
And it can be the silliest thing. It doesn't have to be something massive, right? Like it could be a simple thing like, well, yesterday I didn't get enough sleep because there was a jackhammer on the street.
Right.
Today there isn't, and I got good sleep.
Right.
That's great.
I feel really good. I feel different.
Yes.
I feel different this morning.
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool. And that is something that you really have to allow yourself to do, especially when you're in the throes of life that you are in because of your, the two kids. I had two kids 18 months apart. I had them later in life. I was 36 and 38 when I had my babies, and they're now, in their 20s. They're awesome. But it was, those first few years were super hard and there wasn't time. And it is the go, 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 go. And that it's hard to give yourself 5 minutes, literally give yourself 5 minutes in the morning. I was working at Estee Lauder at the time and I had a big job. One of the heads of the entirety of the company had breakfast with him one day and he was like, Cathy, you got to work out in the morning. You've got to come and join this gym and work out in the morning. And I was like, dude, you don't understand what goes on in the morning.
What my mornings are like.
Are you kidding me? I mean, I just thought that is so clueless about what goes on for a woman in the morning when you have babies. Yeah. I just thought okay, that's not going to happen. But what could happen is before I even open my eyes, before anything gets onto me, I wish I'd known this then. I didn't. Give yourself that 5 minutes. That's really beautiful because that'll go a long way. It's
a subconscious reprogramming you're doing in the morning. It will completely change the tone of your day. And there are studies to prove this. So as silly as it sounds, I always say setting an intention, expressing gratitude, is as powerful as meditation. Yeah. It is meditation.
It's meditation.
Meditation doesn't mean closing your eyes and just sitting cross-legged in a corner. No. Yeah. Meditation is about being present. And you don't have to do it for 30 minutes. You can literally do it for 3 seconds even in the morning.
That's really, that is a fantastic nugget. I think we do all get like overwhelmed about, oh my God, you said something before, which is like, I've got to do it to this extreme and I've got to run 5 miles and I've got to do this. But literally you can change your body energy if you just
like this.
If you do a quiet box breathe in your brain and nobody would eat, no one even needs to know.
One breath is all it takes to reset your mind-body connection. Literally one breath.
One breath.
That's it.
See?
Who doesn't have time? We're breathing, right? We're doing it.
I know. But being conscious and focusing on it.
Being conscious and focusing. That's really what it is. It's kind of letting go of all the different directions our brain is getting pulled into and saying, pause.
Yep.
I'm going to focus on me right now. Take a deep breath. And that's literally all it takes.
And that's grounding. And that is what we should start our day with literally every day. And we should come back to it during the day.
Yes.
During the day, we should do it. We should do it. Okay, so then we were talking about sort of the annual review and you talked about, along with that, the idea of an annual detox.
Yes.
And can you just explain a little bit more about that? Because it goes sort of hand in hand with your review.
Yes, very much so.
Yep.
So in my Western medicine training, the word detox wasn't really used, right? It's sort of a new age topic where everyone's trying to detox, right? And most of the times when I say detox, the image that people conjure up is green juices, coffee enemas, and
so gross.
A spa retreat. Or
I know. I tried an enema on a spa retreat.
Yes.
Never doing it again. It was fine. I mean, I'm glad I tried it. Anyhow, keep going.
But that's the image we are sold when it comes to detox.
Yeah.
That we have to do these aggressive
Totally.
things that are not necessarily sustainable.
Right.
In Eastern medicine, the idea of detox is very fundamental to how we live.
Mm-hmm. It's that sponge concept.
It's a sponge concept. It's you wringing out your sponge.
Love.
It's focusing on the yin, right? Because our life gets so yang, we're go, go, go. Detox is a way to bring that yin back.
Yeah.
And get your body back to balance.
Nice.
And in Ayurveda, typically detoxes are done at the change of season because that's when we're most vulnerable to disease, right? That's when we're most vulnerable in the sense that our genes are going through a shift. So there's actually a study they did, looked at the genetic makeup of people across the world at a certain time. They said, okay, let's look at the genes of someone living in England and someone living in Ghana, let's say in spring, and let's see what's happening.
Okay.
So they found that the genes that were being turned on were basically getting your body ready for what season is about to come. So if you live in Africa and you're about to enter monsoon, rainy season, that's mosquito season, that's malaria season.
Got it.
So your body's literally getting ready for that.
It knows.
Yeah. So if you're in a colder climate, this is when everyone gets coughs and colds, right? So your body's getting ready for that.
Yeah.
So change of season is a lot of work for the body because it's trying to shut off something and turn on something.
Yeah.
So this is the time is ideal for detox. It's ideal for simplifying our life. So to allow our body to go through this transition.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense to me.
I love that.
We don't have any concept of that in Western world.
No.
Right? God forbid you slow down.
I know. You're going to lose.
Yeah. You feel like a loser because you slowed down, right?
Winning and
you
losing.
Go, go, go. You got to do more.
Yeah.
But that's the idea is let's take a pause.
Yeah.
Let's wring out that sponge.
Right.
Let's start with a clean slate. So when we go into the next season, we're not just piling on those toxins.
It's toxicity, isn't it? And the toxicity is just massive now, isn't it? I mean, it comes in every kind of way, doesn't it?
In every direction.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
So everything we breathe, everything we drink, we eat, we touch, we see, we hear, our senses. So as much as the food and the water and the air brings toxins into our body, so do our senses.
Right.
Right? So the senses are the biggest drain on our battery.
Wow.
So detox is all about allowing our body to recharge.
Okay.
Right? So everything we do throughout the day, throughout our year, it's just draining our battery.
Yeah.
Emotional, physical, spiritual, every which way.
Yes.
How are we charging it?
How are we recharging it? What do we do? Okay. So you talked about good things. You talked about, things literally, they're just little teeny little things like screens, phones.
Yes.
I found what was interesting about light in bedrooms. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So when people come to me saying, Dr. Parikh, I want to do a detox, put me on a diet plan, tell me what supplements. And it's like, no, we're going to do less. So I say, the most primary thing your body does to detox, or the time when it detoxes, is when we're sleeping. Not just a physical detox. Our brain actually dumps out inflammatory molecules in our sleep.
I like the feeling of that.
Right? Like,
yes.
we're
I want,
literally
get it out of my brain.
all those molecules.
Yes.
When we don't get enough sleep, what happens? We're irritable. We can't think right.
Yep.
We are not focused. We don't remember things. We do stupid things, right?
Do stupid things, say stupid things, eat stupid things. It's not good.
And it's not a fault of our own.
No.
It's literally there's toxins building up in our brain that haven't been removed.
Right.
So I say, if you want to detox, the number one thing is focus on your yin, which is sleep. It's so fundamental.
First thing, right? And what does that look like, right? What does that look like? It looks like you're decreasing your screens. You put down your phone at a certain time. I know it's so easy to say and hard for people to do, but you talked about forming habits and rituals. So like the whole concept, and I know we've all heard this and the girls are like, I know, but it doesn't have to be so extreme.
It doesn't have to be so extreme.
No.
And often when we talk about sleep, people just focus on, I got to get those 8 hours. Anything less, you're like, give up. I'm not, like right now I'm a new mom.
Yeah. Well,
no sleep.
No.
Literally no sleep.
No.
So
You look great though, by the way.
Thank you. Not easy, but yes. So it's not always the timing. So I often don't, control the timing of the sleep. I focus on the quality of the sleep.
Good. You grab it when you can.
Exactly.
Yep.
And let me get the best sleep I can, even if it's 2 hours.
Yes.
And what can I do to facilitate that? So one of the biggest barriers to getting deep quality, restorative sleep is actually light exposure, which no one talks about. So this is a phenomena that is very much modern lifestyle related, right? We didn't have light bulbs going off 24 hours, screwing up our circadian rhythm.
That's right.
It's fundamental. It's literally the fundamental software in our body is our circadian rhythm, telling every cell what to do.
It sounds like that's what you were talking about too before when you were talking about seasonality, is your body's on a clock.
It's so good at it. It's literally perfected the art of being on a clock over hundreds and thousands of years of evolution.
How cool is that though? Yeah. The body is amazing, isn't it?
It is. And look around you. It's springtime right now. Yeah. Look how the trees know what to do.
They know what to do.
If it's fall, trees know what to do.
They do.
This innate intelligence is very much part of us.
Yeah, and we just need.
We don't need green juices to activate that.
I think I told you this, that I talked to my doctor Holly Anderson, who you know and who has been here with us, when I was done with my cancer treatment last year, and I had just finished. I did chemo then radiation, and just like dogging, and I'm like, okay, Holly, let's go. I'm like, okay, let's go. I got to detox. What do I need to do? Do I need to go on a diet? Do I need green juices? What should I do? And she like laughed at me and she was like, Cathy, here's what you need to do. You need to drink as much water as humanly possible. You need to get a ton of sleep. You need to listen to your body and sleep. You need to eat really great plant-based, healthy foods, and you need to go for a walk. Don't push it. And she was like, that is all you need to do, and your body will heal itself and detox itself. And I thought, I like took it was like a sigh of relief.
Yes.
Really, it was.
Is.
And I thought, I'm gonna do that. And then I think like I went and laid down, So yeah.
And that knowledge is innate to us. No, we don't need to learn it. So every animal, if you think about animal kingdom, right? If an animal gets sick, do they go to the doctor? Do they go on Google, WebMD? No. They listen to their body.
That's
Animals know what to do when they're sick.
Right.
We know what to do.
We do.
I have a 2-month-old who's sick right now. He knows what to do.
He does.
He knows I need to sleep more.
Yeah.
And I need to eat in small chunks because I can't digest too much milk at the same time.
No.
I didn't teach him that.
No.
He came with that knowledge.
He came.
Right?
Yeah. Yep.
What we do is we act smart. We try to override that knowledge and say, no. I gotta go.
Right.
Right? Like we override.
Like I'm gonna outrun it. I'm
Exactly.
gonna outrun all this nasty stuff. I'm just gonna plow through it. There's no more plowing through.
No.
We need to knock that off.
We need to listen to our body.
Okay.
Let it do its thing. Don't get in the way. Most of the diseases happen because we get in its way.
We get in its way. We are our own, like, I don't want to say downfall because that sounds negative, but we have so much more control than we even know.
More.
We just need to be awake to it is what we do.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
You said something, actually, I thought this was a really interesting note about when we were talking about sleep. You said there was a study done and that women who had TV light in their room over a period of time, I'm not sure how long it was, gained something like 11 pounds.
Yeah.
Is that what was that?
So that's the reason when I focus on sleep, I don't focus on 8 hours. I say, let's improve the quality of your sleep.
Yeah.
And the biggest barrier is the light exposure.
Yeah.
And it comes in the sneakiest ways that we don't even think about. Phone, absolutely, right?
Yep.
So simple thing you can do is activate the night shift mode on your phone.
Right.
So once the sun goes down, the phone knows automatically to block out the blue light.
Okay, so I did that after we spoke last week, and it takes getting used to.
It does, because it looks very gray, yellow.
I know.
You're like, what is this?
I know, and then everything reversed, and the background was black.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, wow, that's kind of cool. So I don't know, but yes, so okay.
But that helps so much because that's one of the biggest sources of blue light exposure and completely screwing up the signal in your brain. Your brain doesn't register it's nighttime. So no wonder we have a hard time going into sleep.
It makes total sense when you're aware of it, though.
When you're aware of it.
When you're aware of it, and that there are just these, again, teeny tiny little things.
They add up.
They do, though.
They really do. And these are fundamental things. I always say this is not optional. This is so fundamental. If you don't do this, no matter how many supplements or teas you drink to help you sleep, it's just not going to work.
Because you're wired in a certain way.
Exactly.
And your rhythm is off.
Yes.
And you can't, that's the thing you got to fix first. So again, sort of circling back to our longevity theme, it really is inside. It's inside out as opposed to outside in. I mean, granted, 100%. The outside stuff affects the inside, but you really have to be aware.
Yes. It's all about how your body responds to the external stimuli. And I'll just comment on that study. It was eye-opening for me because I never learned this in medical school. Most doctors are not aware.
No.
So most doctors will give you that generic advice, get 8 hours of sleep.
It's like,
right?
How?
Like,
how?
How?
Right?
Like, if someone told me get 8 hours of sleep, I'd be like, what? Like, I would never want to listen to them again, right?
It's just dumb.
Such a hollow advice.
It is, though. And they feel like they're checking a box and saying what needs to be said. Nor are you really taught in medical school about nutrition, are you?
Zero.
Yeah, I know.
Right? So none of these things are talked about.
No.
So when it comes to sleep, when the study came out, and I'm like, we're talking about Ozempic? But how about asking the patient, what does your room look like when you sleep?
Yeah.
Especially for women, coming back to that. We're so sensitive to hormones.
Yes.
Cortisol is the master circadian rhythm hormone. Melatonin, all of these things affect us more.
Yeah.
So women who slept with the TV on or a light on in their room gain about 11 pounds over the years.
Crazy.
And they also found an association with increased breast cancer risk.
Really?
Yes.
See, that's the little devil, the little breast cancer devil that we just can't figure out, and it's getting us all.
And there's so many factors to it.
Yes.
Right? It's diet, it's exposure to light at night, to basically disrupting
all sorts of
circadian rhythm, to toxins we're exposed to. There's so much everywhere. We can do.
You know what else I'm convinced about? We're just, if we can digress for just a moment, I'm convinced that there's a big element of suppressed trauma is a bit too big a word, but anxiety, stressors, because of the shock absorber thing that we talked about before for women, where you just take it in. If someone is, repeatedly aggressive towards you, or you're in a relationship that is, abusive in any way or toxic in any way, you just take it in. And then all of a sudden your body's like, dude, I can't do this anymore. Because there's so much in there that you have to release, and unless you have to release it, or you know how to squeeze that sponge out.
Yeah.
See, I was not squeezing a sponge.
No, we're just absorbing it, and that weight just wears you down.
It wears you down, but I'm squeezing a sponge now. No, that's really good to know, right? The bottom line for us when it comes to thinking about longevity for women, knowing all of these things that we sort of inherently know, is that we really just need to focus and know our bodies.
Yes.
And if you were to share with us and our girls 3 things that we need to do to focus on our own and take control of our own longevity, what would they be?
Number 1, check in with your body. When I mean like a proper checkup. Mark the day, whether it's your birthday or your kid's birthday or summer, like whatever that time of the year is, do not let it go.
Don't.
Once a year, go to your doctors. Because the things that kill us the most, longevity is all about delaying death, right?
Correct,
So
yes.
talk about the things
being
that kill
aware,
us.
preparing. Yeah.
Heart disease, cancer, all of these things we can screen for.
Yeah, we can.
We can prevent.
Yeah, we can. I got a mammogram. I found it. It was, I go every year, religion, birthday. I do all of this stuff. I get an EKG, mammogram. I do a colonoscopy every 3 years. But like insane blood panel of like everything. Test your estrogen, right? You got to know your estrogen. You'll catch stuff.
Yes. And I say challenge your medical providers. Because they're trained in medicine that was taught to them 30, 40 years ago. A lot has happened.
Yes.
A lot has happened in the meantime.
Yes.
Not everyone keeps up with it.
Right.
So just a quick tip on what I would do. Like what I typically check on my patients on an annual basis.
Yes.
To give an idea why I do it. I'm not one to waste money. I'm not one to do unnecessary testing.
Yeah.
So I only check things that are important and I know can be a game changer.
Good.
So one of the things you need to do is check your blood count.
Yep.
Because if you're anemic, which a lot of women are,
Interesting.
fatigue, weight gain, irritability, depression, that's going to be related to your anemia.
Yes.
We can fix it. So let's
Great.
check it.
Okay. Love that.
Thyroid. We're seeing so much thyroid disease in women at all different ages.
Fascinating.
And
Is that new? Is that a new thing?
it's an environmental thing.
Jeez.
Because a lot of chemicals in the environment look like the thyroid hormone.
Fascinating.
So they bind to your thyroid receptors and cause abnormal thyroid levels.
Interesting, because there is more thyroid cancers now, isn't there?
So much more thyroid cancer than it ever was.
Yeah, I've been hearing
And
about
younger and younger people are getting it.
Yep.
So that's why paying attention to your thyroid, check your thyroid levels on an annual basis.
Okay.
Because that can affect your metabolism. Again, metabolism, mood, or like everything comes back to that.
Does.
You might just feel like, oh, I'm just more tired. Oh, it's my fault because I haven't been going to the gym. I'm not eating right. So it must be my fault. Might be your thyroid.
Yeah. So
Right?
check all those stuff.
Check that.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I always check is inflammation marker, something called CRP.
Okay.
Inflammation is the canary in the coal mine. Inflammation is the root cause for so many things that happen in the body.
Yeah.
From infections to cancers, immune dysfunction. So if I can check the inflammation level, catch it early, there's so much I can do about it.
So good.
Most doctors don't check it. It's a simple, easy blood test.
I love that. CRT. It's
CRP.
CRP.
Yes.
Okay, ladies. CRP. That's put it on your list.
Very important.
Great.
And then lastly is vitamin levels.
Okay.
So I'm not about just pushing supplements on people.
No.
People always say, should I take that? I was like, let's check your blood.
Yeah,
Let's
you
see
might
what
not
you
need
actually
it.
need.
Yeah, you
right?
might not need it.
Because too much is a poison. So there's a saying in Ayurveda that says, dose makes the poison. Dose makes the medicine.
Right.
Same thing, taking the right amount could be healing for you. If taken in the wrong amount can be toxic.
Yeah. That makes sense because you're out of balance then.
Yeah, it's more stuff that your body has to process.
Yeah.
Right? On top of the food that we're eating, the chemicals we're exposed to. Now we got a bag full of supplements my body got to digest, right?
Yep.
So check your levels, vitamin levels. So one of the most important ones for women is iron levels.
Okay.
If I had a penny for every woman I diagnose with iron deficiency, because no one checks it. So many women come to me because their hair is just falling out, right? They've gone through all these painful PRP injections, this and that, and I check their level. The iron is so low.
And it's that simple.
And it's one of the most important things for hair loss, but no one checks it.
All right. We need to, we're going to put some of these little tidbits on
we'll put it
the
together.
website, just so people can, like, as a recap to say, like, okay, when you do your annual visit, because everyone's going to do here are the 5 tests you need to take, right?
So iron.
Yep.
And the other 3 vitamin levels. Vitamin D, we know vitamin D is associated, not just bones, heart disease, mood, immune system.
Yep.
So many things are associated with vitamin D.
Yep.
So we got to optimize it, especially if you live in areas. I mean, no one's getting, let's just be honest, no one's getting the right amount of sun exposure, right?
No.
So we need it.
Okay.
And there's not enough from diet. So we really need to supplement that one. And then B12 and folate.
Yep.
So B12.
L-methylfolate.
Yes.
Yes.
Methylated B12 and folate.
Yep.
So important.
It also helps with your anxiety and depression levels, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So one of the treatments for depression is actually folate vitamin that you take during pregnancy. Everyone
takes
that's
it.
one of the main things you take when you're pregnant is folate, because it's so important for baby's brain development.
Totally.
Guess what? Your body still needs your folate even after you're born.
Yep.
Because the levels of folate in around the space in your brain, the water, the fluid that surrounds your brain, is directly correlated with depression symptoms.
Wait, I didn't know that.
Yes.
See, that's fascinating because I will tell you, a lot of us girls, as we're raising children, you get all people, people that are in your life, they pop out with all sorts of things and anxiety and depression in young people is rampant right now. That's a whole other topic, which we don't need to go off into. But I'm saying it's good for the moms, the women to know that folate and folic acid has to be part of any treatment. Omegas and folate is part of a treatment program. Has to be.
Because this is why I'm talking about women longevity.
Yes.
What our bodies need is something very different.
Yes.
Iron is not usually a concern because men are not bleeding every month for 30 years of their life.
Right. So it's not on the radar.
Yeah. And folate, men are not getting pregnant. So they're not losing all their body's folate stores when they give birth.
Yet here we are.
Right. And this is why approach to longevity in women needs to be customized. It is very, very different.
Totally.
So do not ignore these key things.
Okay. All right. So tip number 1, annual visits. We're doing these things and we will summarize this so that you can literally go to the site and be like, okay, I forgot what you said, but this is what it's going to be. Number 2, you said ritual detox.
Yes.
Okay.
Set a time of the year. It could be a year. It could be a monthly thing you do. You need to carve out space where you wring out that sponge.
Yes.
When are you going to do it?
Right.
And I typically recommend doing it when you know that's when you're feeling that burnout. We all do, right? We all have that time of the year. For me, it's usually January, February.
Yeah.
I'm very susceptible to lack of sunlight and the weather really gets to me. So for me, that's a perfect detox time. For some people, it's after summer. The summer's been crazy. September comes, so pick a time of the year when you know you tend to burn out.
Right.
So carve out that time.
And we all know our times. And you said to start with the mental and spiritual.
Yes.
Start with that. Lead with that.
It takes seconds, right?
Yeah.
Your detox could be seconds in the morning with you just setting an intention, taking one deep breath.
Love.
Doesn't have to be anything insane.
No.
And then the next step, I would say, after mind, body, focus on sleep. Because we're focusing on the yin part.
Yin.
Before you jump to crazy diet changes and some crazy workout routine, which is not sustainable.
It sounds exhausting.
It's more work for your body. Detox equals less work for your body.
Less work for your body.
So you can focus on getting the toxins out.
The yin. We're focusing on the yin. Okay. And number 3, you said look at your 4 pillars.
Always.
Okay.
That's your inventory you're going to take. You don't need to go to the doctor all the time to get your blood test to see how you're doing.
Once a year.
Exactly.
Yep.
So the other times you can focus on these pillars, check in with yourself, catch things before they become a problem.
Love it. Yes. Proactive. Build your yin. That's what I wrote down. Build your yin. I love it. This has been so fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and talking. We literally could keep going. I know. This has been fantastic. I look forward to our next chat.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Inside the Wellspace. Subscribe now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you listen to your podcasts.